Hello everyone. Uh, Before I start inviting two of our guests, I would like to say thank you again for all of you to tune in to our Tazkirah session. For the one who is viewing on YouTube, I would like to say again thank you for spending your time with us. Inshallah, we will have something fruitful from the discussion. Welcome everyone, welcome. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay,
Hello,
before I start, for both of you say okay? Okay. Before we start, we start our ceremony with Umur kita Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Truth be told, I'm actually quite scared, nervous to be exact, somehow. Because this is the first for three of us to be talking quite interesting topic to say. I'll be introducing myself last. My name is Fadzli, semester 5 ETSA student, and two of our guests. May you introduce yourself first?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Faiz and Aiman. I am known as Faiz, TESOL Part 5, and also President of EYE.
Right. My name is Ramadhan. You can call me Aiman for short. I am a Part 5 student, TESOL, ETSA. I originate from Negeri Sembilan, and I am currently upholding the position of Vice President, Club EYE.
Okay. How do you guys feel? Do you feel nervous as I am?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel quite nervous. Before I start, I just want to let know all of our viewers, we will be starting the discussion around 10:05 or 10:06, depending on the viewers. But itulah, that's oh my, I'm not supposed to speak Malay. Okay. Before we start, just a bit of a small talk. What did you guys eat for dinner earlier, for breaking fast?
KFC.
KFC, wow, fancy, my boy here.
Oh.
But I seem to have a connection problem.
How about you? What did you have for dinner?
I eat a Tesco fried chicken with some rice. Delicious. But what did you eat for dinner earlier, for breaking fast?
Of course, I eat rice. And then, what did I eat? That's the hard part of being a guy. We don't remember what we eat. I ate rice with chicken, yes. With chicken.
So everyone eat rice with chicken lah.
Soybean chicken, yes. Chicken for life.
Since the view is getting a double digit, I would say, and the time is about 10:05, I would say we can start our discussion. Okay, I have already informed both of you of our topic, that is how whining is not actually a bad habit. May I know both of you opinion on this topic? This topic.
Aiman, if you... Aiman?
When we talk about whining as a bad habit, I think, to a certain degree, I would agree that it is not something that is bad as people would put it. But that's from my point of view lah. Because even though whining is something that is considered annoying to listen, especially to the ears, it is also the act of expressing one's feelings. Yes. So in a way, I don't think whining is a bad habit. Why?
I agree. Because whining or complaining is actually quite okay because it's a form of how express ourselves, how
I'm sorry, Pak. We can't hear you. Aiman, can you hear him?
Yeah. No, I
hello.
cannot. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Again.
Okay. Now okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
It's a bit
Okay.
slow, tapi
Sorry about
okay.
that. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I agree with Ivan, which is to a certain extent. Okay.
Connection problem now.
Yes. Uh, that with the new technology.
We still can't hear you, Pak. I can't hear you. Aiman, can you hear him well?
Only a bit. It's really
No,
soft.
only a bit.
Can you hear? Can you hear me now?
Yes, but good. You need to macam speak louder,
So,
higher
what?
tone.
I mean,
Yeah, tadi
Uh,
earlier is quite loud. Somehow it's getting lower.
Probably because of my, doing past my bedtime. Okay.
understand.
Like I mentioned, I agree with Iman, which is to a certain extent, whining or complaining is okay because it's a form of how we express ourselves. Okay, it's a way of how we want to release our stress. Because especially when you whine to friends. But I'll get back to that in a little bit. But whining is a form where we can express our stress. When we talk about, oh my God, today I have a lot of assignments. Then after that, you just feel good for yourself. Okay, so yes, I agree with Mike. Whining is not as bad as people say it is.
Because I'm the one who suggested the topic, so of course I agree with the statement because I constantly hear that uh, jangan mengeluh, that you should be bersyukur with what you have. But that's the thing. We can be grateful, but at the same time, if we did not hear our voice of complaint, it feel like we are putting it down, and it can become something much more bigger. Like Aiman and Pak has said, it is a form of expression, but we can't over complain because when you are over complain, yeah, you are over complaining. Sometimes you should look at the bright side too, but you can complain. But now we go to our next topic. I believe that complaining should have a certain group of people that we should complain. As in, this group of people know that we are complaining just for complaining, as in nothing more after that. For example, for our viewer information, the three of us quite close. So when we are together right now, we complain we complain our problem. We know we complain, but just for the sake of complaining, just expressing ourselves. But after our session, after our complaining, we we just do our work. Yeah, do our work. That's what we need to do. Still our priority. How does you guys feel about that?
Aiman, you want to
In
go first? Aiman, you want to go first?
Right, in
Okay,
terms
Aiman.
of grouping people that has uh, that you said, as you said, grouping people that often whines, right? To
Mm-mm.
me, commonly this behavior is often seen within kids, especially in the younger ages, because other than crying, whining is one of the examples of how children expresses their sadness or disappointment, especially towards their parents. Um, but even though I said it caters to children, but it doesn't actually necessarily cater to only children, as teens and
True, true.
adults also do so, as it is an act of habit, right? And don't get me wrong, I do think whining is as something annoying, especially in terms of that high pitched tone of voice when you would say, Allah, bosan lah, tak nak begini.
Can you give
And
another
to be
example?
honest,
Much
if you're the
more.
one on
Can
the
you give?
receiving end, it would seem to be, it's clear and it's obvious that it's kind of annoying. But according, oish, I did some research.
Oish.
According to Rose Soko Chang, a journal published
Wow.
by the American Psychological Association, says that if we're looking at whining in terms of parent to child context, basically we are wired to find whining intolerable as adults. But it is actually recommended that parents to try to look at whining itself not as our as annoying behavior, but actually as an attachment behavior. It's because they have that connection between them, between the parent and the child. So if we were to look at whining itself, not in terms of parents and child, whining commonly occurs between people who have a deeper bond, right? Like friends, the ones that you have attachment to, usually to someone you know, to love, or to understand. So if I were to group people who are allowed to whine, I would say children up to a certain age lah. And then after that, for me, I would just consider it as you're grown. I think you should learn to get past whining and start discussing properly. So yeah, that's for my part. Thank you very much. Pai, how about you? In terms of whining and grouping?
Okay. Thank you, Aiman. Wow, if he's done his research, we can see
Yeah,
that.
he done his research. Wow. I should done mine.
As for me, I think that I agree because when you are with certain kind of people, you just feel that whining is okay. You just feel that whining is just like a normal thing, like Fadzli said. When we are with our friends, and even the three of us, we usually whine about things that, you know, like that we think that shouldn't happen, like too many assignments at one time. Sorry. But then again, if you are whining to people that are not supposed to hear it, or people who are not close to you, it will actually backfire. For example, if you're whining to people who are just friends and not close friends, you can imagine that they will just, you know, talk behind your back, saying that you are a person that, you know, whines a lot, and you are a person that are not grateful and things like that. But if you are whining in a group of people that are close to you, understand what you mean, I think.
Oh, Pai,
Oh, we lost you, Pak. Yeah, we lost you, Pak.
Your microphone just died.
Yeah. now you miming what we learned earlier. Still can't hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Try to disconnect and connect your microphone, earphone. I mean. While Paya is handling his technical issue, I'd like to say thank you again for joining us. Our today topic is more of casual topic of whining is actually not a bad habit, because we constantly hear it, especially by older Malay parent, that is, asyik ngeluh je, cuba bersyukur sikit. And that usually what we hear. But yes, team whining, like Afni said, team whining. Whining is not, whining is a form of expression. If whining just for the sake of whining is quite good. And we just lost him completely. Okay, Pak. I like the hashtag going in the comment section, team whining. Wow. If somehow this go viral, it's going to be some interesting topic.
Yang.
Budak ATM suka mengeluh.
Well,
You're still here?
so Lee, could you re-invite Pai? He's going to leave and then go back in.
Alright, can possible. Well, that. Anyone here, if you feel like connected with our topic, you may express your opinion on the comment section below. If you are against our topic, it also can, because this is a form of discussion. And for me, discussion is a good thing. You can go both way. Yeah, it's a good thing discussion. While I'm inviting, where is Faiz? Faiz? He still has not joined.
Whining 25.
It's 25.
Some people could not, how do you say? I would like to wait for Pai Life. I would continue this. Like, but
Yeah, better. Yeah.
I do think whining.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Clear, crystal clear.
Sama.
I had to change my
Continue.
phone.
See, this is our president of UAE. It's rich. He's got 2 phones.
My
Okay,
iPhone
continue.
got heated up, so okay, continue what I mentioned just now. Okay, so there was a research I read online. A doctor said that usually whining, just to add to Aiman's point, doesn't only occurs in children, but often it occurs in the workplace environment. Okay, usually when people, especially when people, I don't want to say this, but this is the reality, which is people whine about their boss. Okay, and
True.
then even though they usually are not close people, but because they have one, how we say, one main enemy, one main thing that they all don't like, so they become close because of that. And due to that reason, their ability to do work better increases because they can relieve their stress to that whining. Okay, so I think that's a very good example. But again, it's to a certain extent, and be careful to whom you whine to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Pai said, yeah, to whom we are whining, especially when we are in working environment. We never truly know another person through intention. So be careful with whom you are talking, you are expressing yourself. And for me, the topic of whining about our boss is something quite close to me because I've whined about it, and I feel like most of us have whined about you say higher up. Let's say, well, what you say is the topic that we should not whine about. Like, of course, whining something like a boss that we can't control. How about something that should not be whined about? Any example that come into both of your mind? For me, I would say whining about assignment. I would say, as in, all 3 of us guilty of doing our assignment. I think all of us in our chat is guilty is doing assignment quite late. But if the assignment was given just 1 week prior of the deadline, I would feel that is wine worthy. Well, wine worthy sounds something. Something wine worthy. Then then what would be the topic of then if the deadline is half a semester? I would say if you whine about that, that is on you. I mean, yeah, you can whine, but at a certain point, it can become to over whining. Like you can change it if you want. And what does you guys input on that opinion and any other topic of whining that should not be things you should not be whine about?
Aiman, do you have any example?
When we talk about overwhining, it's mostly because a lot of people don't understand the fact that whining is like one of those essential steps, the essential steps that normally occurs before you take on the idea of creating this constructive opinions. You know, it's like before discussions, if they were not allowed, if they weren't provided the platform to voice out their opinions or their problems, most oftentimes people will just tend to go back to whining because that's all they have for, like we said before, as a way to express their emotions, right? So macam one thing I would commonly whine about is food. Because usually whining happens when it comes from the heart, right? It's like it attacks you personally. So when food is presented in front of me, and let's say I paid good money for it, and it doesn't come out, guaranteed I will whine about it. So yeah. Yes, we just want to
That's a
be
very
heard.
good example.
Yeah, we just want to be here. Betul. Correct what Sophie said.
Okay, Pak.
Okay, so this is one very good comment by soccer staff. Thank you. They say don't whine about your results, but is it bad to just want to do better and expect more from yourself? So this is where my point comes in. If you want to whine about something, you better do something about that. Okay, if you want to whine, like I must say, if you whine about food, except if the food is something that you bought, so that's a different thing lah. But if you whine about food that you cook and you say that, oh, this is not nice enough, I don't, so you can change it by adding some salt or things like that. Another example is if you whine, like most people whine about, I don't have enough money. Okay, usually people whine, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time. I think you can whine about it. That's not a problem. But what you do after that is the most important thing. If you whine and you have action, that's not a problem. But if you whine and you whine and you whine, that's a problem. See? So whine with action is okay. Whine and whine. I think that's going to be a lot sharper.
Cat whining.
Yeah. I see we have a cat whining. Aiman, I think you forgot to feed the cat.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, the cat just whining for the sake of whining.
Just say whining. He does that sometimes. It's fine. What's up? That comment by Shaf. We shouldn't normalize whining, or is it really okay to do so? Whining to an extent. We came
Yeah.
to him and whining to an extent.
Yeah.
It should be as if like you would grow out of whining to later discuss the problems rather than whining.
Yeah. We just whine for the sake of whining, nothing like ill intention. So that's go back to our first discussion that we should have a set group of people that we are close to, that they know we have no ill intention when we are whining. Because yeah, like I said earlier, we can't really truly understand other people's intention. They might have ulterior motive. That's why if we have close friend, we whine to them just for the sake of whining.
That's a very good question.
Yes, my little sister. Yes, I will learn how to cook. She said in the comments.
Just learn to cook lah. You still another sister.
Nasi goreng.
Nasi goreng.
What more? When we talk about whining?
That's a very good question, Fadzli. Can you read that one? By
Which one?
SHF Shikin.
Shafa Shikin, but we should not normalize whining, is it? Okay. We by Shafa Shikin, but we should not normalize whining, or is it really okay to do so?
That's a tough question.
Yeah, it's really quite a tough question because everyone have their own opinion based on their experience. So, Shafa, sorry, Shafa. Where was I? Opinion. I would say everyone have their own different opinion because everyone was raised and experienced life through differently. I would say for myself, because I believe I face a lot of difficulty. I can say difficulty, open quotation difficulty. So I believe at some point, if you are being through a lot of harsh stuff, you are allowed to whine. As in, yeah, you need something to express yourself. Because if we keep it deep down, it's become a negative positivity. Because we avoid the look of that bad thing. We just only look at the grateful stuff. And at some point, that bad thing might clump up and burst. That's my point on normalization of wine. How about both of you?
Normalizing wine. Aiman?
Okay, let me quote this from Pokemon games back in the 2000 back in the 1990s, the Game Boy.
Aiman, they are
There's always
research.
a time and place for everything, but not now. Right? When we consider whining as a subject for today, we must take into consideration that whining often occurs when we are with people that we are close to. Right? So people use whining as an act of expressing
Expression.
their emotions, right? As an expression to discuss the problems that they have. I don't think it's wise to normalize it, but oftentimes it comes out naturally. Like an example of mine, if I were to have a problem, if I had a really bad day, right, or my significant other had a really bad day, and they'll come to me or I'll come to her and I'll be like, "Beef, problem lah today. I cannot lah. You know this place this one guy named Fadzli So it's like that. It's not the intention of me wanting to whine, but it happens naturally. But from time to time, I think it could be annoying. A tad bit, I guess. It's our job for the listeners to become aware that they need attention.
That's a very good way to put it.
Very good.
I think for me, I'll just stress it again. If you want to normalize it, because it depends. Some people say, I read the comment, people say that when you are grateful, that's good. Like, if you want to normalize whining in your life, you better be prepared to put the work in to make sure you match the whine with the work. Because I'm sure you heard of this before. I'm sure everyone watching right now has heard before. Nobody out there cares about you. Okay, right? When we whine, nobody cares. But actually, to be honest, there are people who do. Okay, there are people who do care. Your friends, your families, your parents, everybody care. Not everyone, but some people do. But coming back to the question, if you want to normalize your whining habits, because I'm sure whining can be a habit, which is if it becomes too much, it's just like smoking. Okay? It rots you from the inside. Okay, so if you want to whine and you want to normalize it, we should put the work in.
Okay, now we have another question from one of our viewers, Shazin Junadia. She said, overly whining can be considered as toxic too. It shows that you aren't grateful with what you have. What say you, speaker? I do agree. I do totally agree. Over whining, because she said it herself, over whining. Because when you are over whining, you just now it shows that you are only look at the bad side. You don't even try to look at the good side. You over whine, you ignore yourself, you ignore other, and you plan a subconscious thing in your mind that you can't do anything. That's why overwhining is quite bad. I do agree with what she said. How about both of you?
Aiman, you want to go first?
Overwhining can be considered as toxic too. Yeah, you could say that. It shows that you aren't grateful. For me, that could come to two ways. It's either you aren't grateful for what you have, or you are actually building yourself that critical mindset. Like you tend to see things half full type of way. You see the problems first, then rather than seeing but it's because you don't know how to express it, so you tend to whine about it. But if you are able to evolve that whining to complaining, and then later complaining to put it to actions, and probably whining itself isn't considered as a toxic thing lah. But overly whining in like early ages or early stages, I can see.
Before I go to part I would like to say Welcome, Miss Moon. We are honored to have you for our viewer. Our today topic of discussion, casual talk is how whining is not actually a bad habit. Okay, now we go back to Pak.
Okay. So yes, I agree that hi Miss Moon. I agree that whining is toxic because like I said, if you do it too much, it's just like smoking, it's just like taking drugs, it rots you from the inside. But one way that you can make it better, uh, because I was guilty of whining too much when I was in my diploma days because it was hard. You're just getting accustomed to the life of university life, and then we had financial crisis that time. Okay, so I used to whine a lot. I don't have the money, and then what I did was is I hope that maybe you can try this. Turn that whining into a form of goal. Okay, for example, you're whining about I don't have enough money. So your goal should be to get more money. Okay, if you're whining like okay, my grades are not up to par, so your goal should be to get better grades. Okay, in what way you're turning the toxicity? I hope that's correct. Okay, you're turning that toxicness into something better. Okay, it's like turning a gear, or switching from off to on. Okay, you're just turning it into a source of motivation. Okay, it's quite hard. To be honest, it's quite hard because you're whining about something, but how can you turn that whining into something that you complain into a source of motivation or into something or a goal for you? So that I think the only the best answer I can give is for you to try. Okay.
Thank you. Before I continue again, I would like to also welcome our MPP. Welcome, MPP Umar. We are also honored to have him as one of our viewers. Thank you for spending your time viewing our casual talk. While we are on the topic, are you sure? Are you still not whining nowadays?
But not in
Sometimes.
class.
not in class. Not in Miss Moon. Yeah, Miss Moon class is quite good. There's nothing to whine about. Well, we are the topic of whining, and I like your perspective where you change whining into a set of goals. Okay. How about we start the discussion how about whining about something that we can't change? Should that thing be should we talk about or whine about that thing at all? Like for example, how would give an example? I suddenly have a medical issue that can't be fixed. Let's say, is that a good topic to whine about? Is that, or I should just keep it down? I personally feel, as a person, I feel again we go to our main discussion. That is, whining is a form of expression. Because if we don't whine, we keep it deep down. We sit sorrow in our subconscious that we're going to be doomed, but just a health issue, probably sentimental, quite bad, but we can somehow turn it away in a way or two if we try to look in a good size. How about Faiz and Aiman? View on that.
That is a hard question to answer. Wow.
It is.
You're whining about something that you can't change. You're whining about, for example, your looks. You can change your look. You can change your looks. So you're whining about it. You're whining about something that you can't change. That's a very difficult question to answer. Because then again, if you're whining about something that you can't change, it turns into becoming ungrateful. Okay, because it's something that you can't change. But again, if it's just a little bit of it, it's just like, why you're whining. For example, you look in the mirror and say, I don't look that good. But if it's just, when you whine about it, but you don't feel bad, don't feel like, you're going to do bad stuff to yourself, you're going to jump off a cliff, you're going to kill yourself. Sorry for using that language, but just as an example, if you're whining about something that you can't change, but it doesn't affect you mentally, it doesn't affect you physically, I think it's still fine. But to a certain degree and to a certain extent. Aiman? He's gulping, you know. This is a hard question.
Yeah, it is.
That is a hard question.
It's a very difficult question.
It's okay, take your time. While Aiman is thinking, there's this one question I quite like from one of our viewer, Shafa Shikin. With tonight's topic, does it mean you guys are encouraging us to whine? To a certain degree, yes, and to a certain degree also no, because we go to our main discussion. Whining is just for a form of expression. We don't overwhine. It could lead to, we could show that we are ungrateful and show that we are a negative person. Aiman, still thinking about your answer?
Okay, the answer. About how whining occurs when there's
You
things
can't
that
change.
we can't avoid, right? Things that we can't avoid or change. To be honest, that is a hard one because I would whine about it if that happened to me. I could
It
agree.
happens subconsciously.
Yeah, you whine subconsciously. But the fact that if I don't whine about it, I would just build this sense of hatred to myself, lah, which is terrible for anyone. I think better off rather than whining itself. Better you have someone you're close to that you can depend on. So when times get rough like this, you can grab their shoulder to cry on, or as the saying goes.
Yes.
This is Tazkirah live. Masuk ke sikit unsur agama. Okay.
Oh,
Talking about mental
Go
health.
ahead.
Islam values the importance of good mental health and emotional well-being, especially with whining being said. One way you can lessen yourself to whine is to use the Quran itself, as the Quran can be used as a guide to those who are suffering from emotional distress and aims to
Yes.
lead people to meaningful and quality life. Inshallah.
Yes.
Nice.
Nice, Aiman, nice. The unexpected with your perspective.
Jarang-jarang.
Like Umar said, jarang-jarang. Yeah, it's quite unusual. if not for the Tazkirah, you would say Aiman is having demam, tengah demam. Okay. Okay. We go one by one from one of our viewers. Shazin Yunadia said, we can't change our fate. Our action, however, we can control. We can choose to stand up and protect ourselves with self-care. True, quite true. Another, three of us sort of agree that whining is a form of self-care. We are expressing to others that whom we are trust. Now, this is another hard question from Sophie Shakira. But what's the line of over whining? Where is the limit of whining too much? We need to think of a bit for 1 or 2 minutes.
What is the line of
Over whining. If any of you have something to say, just chime in. I'm also thinking of where is the line.
what's the line of whining? Where's the limit to whining too much?
Yeah, where's the? I would say we can't pinpoint, like objectively say, okay, this is the limit of over whining. Because I do agree, and this is my perspective, everyone goes through life differently. Some have it harder, some have it easier. For some people who have it harder in life, they might say whining about whining about our assignment is normal, while for the people who have it easy, whining about assignment is abnormal. I would say it's depend on person to person, but I think deep down we all know that we all know when whining become over whining. Like we can hear we can become a shoulder for other people to whine, but sometimes we just know he's just being ungrateful. Does both of you understand what I'm trying to say here?
To an extent lah.
To an extent, yes.
To an extent, yeah. I don't know how to be more exact, but I would say it's depend on people to people and also depend of the group. Like for us three, maybe overwinding is different from another set of group. Okay, that's my answer. Depend on people to people for me.
For me, Aiman, if you want to answer first, please do.
Oh, me? Alright. To notice the line of overwhelming or the limit of how much whining you should actually do is when you have that self-awareness where you would notice that what you're doing isn't helping you out, especially when you're like just whining, right? I think that will be the line for normal people lah. It's when they are self-aware that example be like aku buruk tapi rasa macam ni dah sedar aku buruk I'm ugly but it's not like I couldn't watch YouTube do facials or whatever or change my perspective, my clothes. It's like I think the line is when you have that self-awareness lah. I can't really answer that well, so I think that's my answer. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, how about you, Pak?
I think I have two answers for this. The first one, if you write into a close group, you'll notice that when you whine too much, these people will tell you. For example, I'm sorry for your table late, Mister. Kau ni hari-hari nak ni je, nak cakap ni je tu je, tak ada benda lain. So that's one, which means that you're over the limit lah. You're always whining too much. That's one point. My second point is if you're over whining, because if you notice when you whine, you subconsciously will whine again and again and again and again. Okay, so it happens just like that. Sometimes it's uncontrollable, but you will notice instance that sometimes you will get this. You will just notice that okay, this is off. This is over the line. I can't do this anymore. I'm sure when you whine to a certain extent, for example, if you whine that, why are they giving me so many assignments? They know that I have other subjects to study. They know that I have other subjects to do assignments on. But then subconsciously, you say that, okay, maybe there's a reason to this. Okay? So actually, that's the limit. It happens subconsciously in your mind without you knowing. Okay? Because we, especially Muslims, we were trained to understand that gratefulness is a part of us. So it happens subconsciously. So I'm sure you can try and whine about something, but then you will just stop.
Mm-hmm.
And when you stop, that is the limit to it. If you continue to do it, I think that's going to be ungrateful. Okay. So I hope that answers the question. So it's
Yeah, I hope.
Could I interject? Alright,
Interject?
Interject you. There's an answer from Afnia down here. It says she thinks that if you're over the line, if other people are affected by your actions. Overwinding is when you are spreading too much negativity to others. It's like
true.
Yeah, true, right? I get
True.
the fact that you want others to understand your situation. Then you don't want it to.
I was like,
you don't want it to be to the point that's like, bro, come on, that's kind of annoying. That's
like just bruh, stop. I think that's enough.
The listeners,
Yeah.
rather than you affecting yourself. So that
It
is
affect the vibe of the room, affect the vibe of the grouping, our group. Like you just doesn't feel right. Macam it feel like off when you just feel it in yourself. I like this comment why Wakmal or one of my housemate. I try to translate it from Malay to English, but what I can have the gist of it that he said, everyone face through life differently, and in life there's no black and white. So we can't really set, oh, this is the limit, because it's different from people to people. Yes, Wakmal. Yeah, whining is not good, but it is a process of life, and we are continue to living life lesson. Yeah, very good answer.
Okay.
My
Those are
housemate is
bad.
has something to say. Good.
Yeah.
From what I've read, overly whining shows lack of character. If you don't like something the way it is, do something to
Try to
change it.
change. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned, because if you're going to whine, you should be putting work to it. Because if you're just whining, you just keep on whining because you don't have any actions. But then again, actions sometimes are hard. Okay, so be mindful and also keep on working.
In the words of Miss Moon, don't just whine, then act to resolve.
Miss
Yes,
Moon,
true. Brownie point from Aiman. uh, is there anything to discuss about whining? I'm trying to think. I think we sort of cover almost everything that is to
from
discuss.
There's something from Afri. Whining is when you start, not that one. There's something about insecurities. I think it was from Afri. Yeah. Whining somewhat related to one's insecurities, perhaps.
Not necessarily. You can whine about your workspace,
It depends.
your boss.
Yeah, it depends. Depend on what you are whining about. When
Like I mentioned, it's not necessarily.
not necessarily, it can become. It show that you are showing your insecurity when you are overwhined. When you just like whine, I just have a bad day. This food sucks. Okay, then okay lah. Then move on from it. If we can somehow have an action from that this food sucks, okay, we just don't buy from this stall anymore. We learn from that. Don't try your luck, and maybe next day the food going to be better.
When you were explaining about the boss, can you explanation?
Explaining what?
Just now you mentioned about it's the whining about your boss. I think I heard something like that.
I was just saying that whining doesn't necessarily have to relate about your insecurities. It happen when you're like in a workspace, when you're talking about your boss, or like about the food itself, like you just said. That's all I'm saying.
I'm still trying to think what there's more to think about in whining, and I'm trying to see any comment section that can have a fruitful discussion.
I left tonight's topic. Good job.
While we are thinking for any subtopic, I would like to thanks. Q&A. I think we are having Q&A from earlier. People keep asking questions and we keep answering. I want to say thank you again to our viewer for spending your time with us. This discussion will not be fruitful without all of you. All of us can just talk, but we would like to hear from other people's perspective too, especially the critical one.
Thanks for
Right, I'm gonna go to streamer mode. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. All the 14 viewers that has stayed up until from 10 p.m. to 10:50 p.m. You guys are the best.
Yes.
Inshallah, we'll be doing more of this, especially from ETSA itself as well as UIE. It was a pleasure for us to continue to join you guys in today's session. But before that, I would like to answer this question. Is it healthy to not whine? That is the question of the day.
Oh yeah, that's also a good question.
Q&A. That's the thing.
I mean, if you
Um,
cannot whine, it's okay. I mean, if
yeah,
you know how to express yourself through
yeah,
discussion or
yeah. If you have nothing to whine about, don't whine. If you have,
you know,
go. Yeah, yeah. If you don't have nothing to whine, don't whine. If you have something to whine, go on ahead. But like we said earlier, know your limit. When it can become annoying to yourself too and to other people. Any interjection from both of you?
not true.
Mm,
Like,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The time is looking 10:50. Aiman have ended his streamer mode. Now I enter my streamer mode. Again, thank you everyone for joining our live stream. Thank you to Faiz or Pak and Aiman Arif for joining us. I invited them as a friend and as a classmate because we talk to each other a lot, and I feel comfortable talking with them, talking about topic like this. It can become quite hot to certain people. Again, thank you. Also later on, okay, Pai, you want to say something before I continue?
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Yeah.
okay, continue.
And before I continue. Later on, there will be a feedback form at our ETSA link tree. There's those feedback form just as how our performance, any recommendation, and if we do this future event, do you like to join, and any future topic. I think that's about it for me. From any of you guys, anything you want to promote beside EYE?
It's like until minutes yet already finished. Yes, already finished. Probably I just would like to remind that if you going to whine, please know your limits, because if whining will be a sign of ungratefulness. And then because Aiman already went into his Islamic side, I'm going to go to mine now because this is the last part. So Allah said in the Quran, Surah Ibrahim, ayat 7, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لئن شكرتم لأزيدنكم ولئن كفرتم من عذابي لشديد. So Allah said that if you are grateful for what I have given you, I will give you more. But if you are ungrateful for what I have given you, you will feel my wrath. Okay? So be careful why, because if you show ungratefulness, the rest will not be here, but it will be in the hereafter. So be careful. That's not my advice. Advice from the Almighty. Okay. Aiman?
Aiman?
The word from UIE. For the semester, I hope you guys are able to join our events. You did say we could promote ourselves, right?
It's okay.
There will be an upcoming competition in mass designs for UIE itself, and as well as our podcast. So if you are interested, do give it a listen. Inshallah, the first episode will be up next week by Saturday or Sunday. Inshallah.
And a word from Miss Moon. Yes, well done, guys. Such a fresh sight to all of you. I respect the same level of discussion in class.
Oh my.
Yeah. Oh my. I think we just made a mistake. No. Inshallah, we will be as full during class at this discussion. Inshallah. Again, inshallah, if there are enough people who want us to do Tazkirah 2.0, inshallah, we will try to make it a monthly thing. Inshallah. And we see our next monthly. Okay. Okay, you guys may leave now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting us. All the best. Okay.
All right.
Thanks so much. Have a good night, everyone.
Okay, on 3. 1, 2,
3.
Well, okay. Again, I will say thank you, everyone. And I got something to say since both of them have Islamic value to their talk. I have something to sort of share. Earlier, around November, I traveled around with my friend. And I have, boleh solat, can pray 2 rakaat. I forgot the term. But that thing only can occur when you are traveling for 4 days only. Then my friend shared to me, I follow Mazhab Imam Shafi'i. But my friend showed to me, tell me that if I follow other Mazhab Imam Nawawi, it will be more lenient. Then again, I have a talk with him. Because I was taught by my ustad that I should only follow one imam, that I should not willy-nilly change. But he said to me, Lee, that is preposterous. Islam is beautiful. We should not burden ourselves. And if you change your view regarding imam, at the end of the day, it does not affect you as long as you truly believe that Islam is beauty, that you truly believe that what you do is beneficial to you and beneficial to others. With that say, it opened something new to me, that in Islam, they are not so lenient. We could follow other mazhab, but at the end of the day, and during our judgment day, we should truly believe why our reasoning of using that mazhab. With that, I will say thank you everyone. And again, there are feedback form and our link tree. And thank you again, inshallah. We will try to do this monthly or bi-monthly. See you next time. Thank you.